Hi, my name is Dr. Joe Moysiuk, and I'm the new curator of Paleontology and Geology here at the Manitoba Museum. And today I'd like to share with you a couple of really neat specimens of some animals called trilobites. Now, trilobites are actually one of the groups that do tend to be preserved in the fossil record, and that's because they have this very rigid exoskeleton or outer skeleton that covers the top part of their body. And that skeleton is made up of a bunch of little plates arranged segmentally along the body. So you can see some of those in this specimen here. Having a rigid exoskeleton on the outside was great for these animals when they were alive in the Cambrian period, about 500 million years ago, because it enabled them to be protected from some of the predators that were also swimming around in the ocean at that time. But as you can imagine, once it becomes time for you to grow a little bit larger, having a hard skeleton on the outside, like a suit of armor, can be a bit of a challenge. And so these animals would have actually molted that hard armor plating, so they shed it periodically in order to grow larger, and then they would develop a new shell. And this is the same sort of growth pattern that we see in modern organisms like crabs and insects and spiders, which are actually distantly related to these trilobites. Now, the kind of neat thing about these fossils is that you can actually see that part of the head of this fossil is missing. So we have the central part of the head here, but the side parts on either side of the head are actually gone. And one of them is here, but it's been inverted. So what's going on here? Well, it turns out that this is actually a molt configuration of this trilobite. So as the animal arrived at its time to molt, it would have split the exoskeleton open along those lines along the top part of its head. We call those suture lines. And then it would have crawled out through the opening at the front. So you can actually see an illustration of what that looked like here based on some other similar fossils. And I've brought out a couple of trilobites here from another site, which are complete. So you can see what it looks like when the head shield is complete there with these little cheek regions on either side of the head. So this was probably a trilobite that died and was then preserved as a fossil, whereas the other ones that I've shown are actually the molt remains of the animal, so it managed to escape before this particular specimen was buried.